Welcome to another episode of the Sisters Podcast. I have Camryn DeBose here, and she is, you guys are in for a treat. She is just doing her thing in the mental health field, and not even just in the mental health field, in the NE10. She is making a name for herself, and I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to meet, connect the way we did. Camryn, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel good. I'm glad to be here. It's my first podcast, so I'm excited.
Oh, we love the first. The first ones are good. I'm going to tell you, you can breathe, you can relax. Okay, it's really not uptight here. I like for you to be comfortable. Okay. It's just a conversation between me and you. So, got it. Thank you again for deciding to be on here. Mm-hmm. I have to talk about how we met because it just makes sense. We were at the athletic, the mindfulness summit that Diamond and Nay put together in Boston, and I was the one behind the scenes capturing the photos and the videos, and you were one of the people that were up on the panel. And I heard that you were NE10 Conference Woman of the Year, and I was like, wow, okay. And then I heard you went to UNH, which is University of New Haven. That's literally 5 minutes down the street from my house. I'm like, okay, now my wheels are turning. It's connecting there. And then I found out when we ran into each other in the bathroom, and I was intrigued by your story just listening from the panel. My sister, who plays at Franklin Pierce, they had a game at University of New Haven, and it was the Black History Month game. Yeah, and one of the shirts that I'm wearing right now, she's repping it. I'm repping it. My mom caught this shirt. They were throwing it out in the stands, and she caught it. And, sorry, Mom, but it hit me. So I asked for her. I asked for the shirt. And the day of the summit, I was going to wear the shirt. Mm-hmm. And it's just so crazy how we met in the bathroom. I told you that story. You were telling me that you were the one that started that game. Yeah. How did that even start? How did that even come about?
Yeah. I believe it was my senior year. And they were talking about an LGBTQ sponsored game. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, UNH does a lot for that community. Like it's represented like visibly on the community. Like we have a sidewalk painted with the flag, and like we have the flag raised on the pole. So like it welcomes people part of that community. Right. And I was like, well, what about people from other marginalized communities, like people of color? Mm-hmm. We don't have any representation on campus. Like, how do they feel welcome when they come to a campus tour or whatnot? Right. So I was like, what if we change it and make it a Black Lives Matter game and do it during Black History Month? They're like, well, if you want to run it, you can. So I was like, say less. Right. Yeah, so I had help with SAC, the Student Athletic Advisory Committee thing. And from there, it became an annual thing. Wow.
So it started your senior year. Yeah. And now, so it's been 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So, oh my gosh. Tell the people where you're from. Let's start from here. Because I got so many things to go through, man. I want to start the right way. So tell the people where you're from and how you got here.
Okay. I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I say West Palm Beach because not everyone knows Wellington. That's like equestrian. So West Palm Beach is the area. Came to Connecticut because I wanted to experience something different. Mm-hmm. Most of my friends are going like, UF, the FSUs, right. The Berries. And so I was like, I'm going to experience a wholly different culture, total culture shock coming up here. Because one, Connecticut don't have no Southern hospitality. Y'all are straight face and keep it pushing. And I'm saying hi to everybody and they're like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, well, can't take the Florida out of me.
You're right. There are some people that do that, but there's also like a lot of people are straight tunnel vision.
Yeah, and everything's a hustle and bustle, and it's like slow down.
Right.
But I got a scholarship. I was recruited by the previous coach, not the one who's coaching now. I've been with her for 5 years, but I was recruited from the previous coach, and I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, this new person coming in, she's probably gonna kick me off. But I was able to talk with her, and she kept me, and I was able to stay for 5 years.
Love that.
That was my career.
Wow. And now you got your bachelor's in what?
Forensic psychology.
And you're getting your master's degree in
clinical mental health counseling.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even know you were from Florida. So how did you get connected with Diamond? Like, or Renee at like?
Well, mutual friends. So it was Dolly. I believe they played like AAU together and they became like close friends. And so she was like, Camryn, she's doing like a whole event about mental health. And I believe, what was it? Her HHC, like that's her baby. Yep. And so I was like, yeah, I love the message. And so I was like, sure, I'll join. We're talking about mental health and sports. Right. Can't get any better than that. Right. And so, that was the first time I met her when I was at the summit in Boston. Wow. So I was like, wow, now we're connected.
So that was my first time meeting Nate as well. Yeah. But it was so crazy because I felt like everybody in the room, like, I know each other. Yeah, just the vibe, the connection, the conversations that were going on. Well, wow, I'm learning so much about you already. Yeah. So, you obviously got recruited to come over here and play basketball. How was your career? What was that like?
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Mm-hmm. Performance-wise, I had a great time. Like athletics, like playing basketball, that was fun for me. Mm-hmm. Being around teammates was fun. I think the other part that was a bit up and down was the mental component of basketball, because we all know it's 50-50. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot of emotions, like leaving and being a freshman from a whole different area and not having friends. So I had to go through that. And then coming in, you know how like freshmen, you think you're going to take my spot?
Right, yep.
That whole back and forth thing. Yep. And so you got to get the freshman like duty or rights. So like grabbing bags and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then like just the mental turmoil of like being my trajectory through UNH. So like you see my performance increase. And so like now there's more expectations on you as a player. And that weighed heavy on me. And I was like, I can't do everything. Like I'm allowed to have a bad game. It's not my fault if I have a bad game.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of pressure from other people, from coaches, the team, and then myself on top of that. I'm like my worst critic. So
right.
Definitely a lot of mental up and down.
It's crazy because my sister, she just finished up her freshman year at Franklin Pierce. And, you know, some of the things that you were talking about, she dealt with and talking through it with her. But, you know, being on the other side as a coach, you can also tell her, like, I'm giving her advice from both sides, as a player and a coaching side. But one thing you did say is, like, the pressure from the teammates. Sometimes that carries a lot of weight, more than other people think. Like, especially if we're all a team and you're all supposed to bring something to the table.
Not just me out there.
Not just you out there. And I think that's something that every team can learn from and benefit from, especially if you're playing or not. 1 through 15, 16, how many you have in the team, you all have a responsibility to do and bring something every single game, and it's not up to one person just to do so. So I totally understand that. And it's crazy because you finished your career as the second all-time three-point shooter in program history. It was named 2022-2023 Northeast 10 Conference Woman of the Year. Like,
you know what's funny? I didn't start playing basketball until 8th grade. And I was a terrible three-point shooter.
And just worked your way up.
Practice literally in the gym all the time.
And that just comes from dedication. You fell in love with the game.
I did.
Right when you just wanted to become better and better at it. Now that's a testimony too. I think just the simple fact of people thinking, "Oh, I've been playing since I was 5." I always had it don't matter how long you've been playing. It matters the passion you have about it, what you're doing to get better every day. How you're separating yourself from other people who are on the team with you as well. But you know, when you get to college, everybody played basketball.
Everyone's great.
Everybody's great. Like, everybody got a scholarship to come here. Like, but what are you doing to separate yourself? So talk a little bit about that. Like, second all time, and like that's a big accomplishment.
I think it has a lot of credit to do with the people around me. Like my dad, he's like number one supporter. Like he's a coach as well, and so like when I go home to Florida, I'll be like, all right, you want to go shoot? And he'll be like, all right, let's do it. And he'll come home after work, and I'm like, you want to go shoot? And still tired, still catch my rebounds, and do drills and stuff like that. So he definitely helped me, like, round the clock summer, waking up at 6 a.m. Why? Because he was crazy.
He was dedicated.
He was dedicated. Because when I wasn't dedicated, he pushed me. So it worked out in that favor. But as far as, like, on my own up in Connecticut, I was a basketball, like, fanatic, like, studied basketball, watched basketball. So, like, after a game and I have terrible free throws, I'd wait until everyone leaves and then shoot free throws. Or the next day I'll come in and shoot free throws because I had a terrible free throw game.
But that drive and that dedication that your dad had when, first started off kind of just carried out with you, which is great. And I love the fact of, like, you understanding that you had a bad game or had a, bad free throw. Like, you're not just sulking about it. You're actually going to do something about it so you can, change and get that done. A lot of times it's more so, I didn't have a good, shoot a night. Now I'm gonna go back and cry or like go complain.
Well, I did have those moments.
No,
you're
right.
Because we lost, but not for my performance. If I had a bad game, I wouldn't cry about it. But if we lost the game, I'm definitely boo-hooing because we should have won that game. Right. Especially if it's close games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you guys finish out like your last year playing? Like, where did you end off in the rankings?
That's a good question because after basketball, you kind of like block things out. Because you're trying to enjoy your life. Right. But if I can think back, let me see how far did we go? We lost in the first round. Guess to who?
Franklin
Pierce. I was so sad my last game, and we beat them 2 times.
You know what's crazy? So they made a run last year, Franklin Pierce, before my sister got there. They made a run that a lot of people were shocked about. Mm-hmm. And now that you say that, I think I do recall that. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I was so upset because everyone was like, yeah, because after that game was Bentley, and everyone was so focused on Bentley. Right. And I was like, yo, we still got Franklin Pierce. It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Absolutely.
And they smacked us.
Wow. They smacked us. And that is the story of the sports world, and that it always happens like that because sometimes we're like, underestimate this team. Mm-hmm. We already beat them. We know we're going to the next team, but one game at a time. Yes. Gotta take it one game at a time.
And I blame everybody with that mentality. I was like, you guys, I know Bentley's good, but Franklin Pierce, they may have a little something, So
especially playoff time. It's 0-0 game. At that point, it's anybody's game.
So I was really upset when I was like, they ended my career after beating them twice.
Crazy. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. It's good for them. Right.
And then, how did you get the award, the NE10 Conference Woman of the Year? That's awesome too.
Yeah. I was nominated by the athletic department. Okay. And so they put my name out. I didn't even know. Mm-hmm. But some of the requirements is like your academic standings, what you've done, your community involvement, and then also your performance like as an athlete. And so I guess a combination of that, that's how they were like, oh, let's do Camryn. Right. And so a little bit about me, like academically, I was Dean's List, pressured myself to always get 4.0s. I do not recommend that because that's terrible for your mental. I've learned that now in graduate school, you do not need a 4.0. Mm-hmm. And then community involvement, like I was involved with SAC, did a lot of Make-A-Wish Foundation events, also doing going to different schools and having Easter egg hunts on our campus or trunk or treat. Mm-hmm. And then as far as on the court, played basketball. You got to see the game. Yep. So yeah.
SAC is a great part of being a student athlete. Yes. It definitely gets you to explore other opportunities outside the game and then give back to your community to see. And I feel like UNH is a good spot as far as right in the city to hit a couple different schools around the area. I never wanted to go to school in Connecticut because I'm from Connecticut, so you want to go outside. Yeah. But after going to Franklin Pierce, which was in the middle of nowhere, I was like, I could have went to UNH or I could have went to I could have went to UB, but I was just I don't regret it because like you said, it's a culture difference. You got to learn other things, got to see other people from different places. So, but just the location of the UNH, I think that it works out perfectly for you guys with that. Yeah. And then your involvement outside the basketball, I feel like that also helped you with your time at in college. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Being on campus, I recognize there's not many people who look like me on that campus, and so that was really the driving force in me using my voice and because everyone comes to our games, everyone's like, oh, basketball this, basketball that, and a lot of the athletes that you see are Black, and so I was like, well, we should have a moment where it's you see us and we're more than just our sport, and so that's always been my thing, promoting Black wellness and yes, we play sports, but we also have mental health things going on that we don't talk about as a Black community because we have the church, we have music, we have our community, barbershops, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And those are our mini therapy sessions, but we need professional help.
Absolutely. Yeah. And is that what drove you down the line of wanting to be in mental health?
Yep. And so basketball gave you that platform to talk about the Black mental health. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So, back at home, in Florida, in high school, was that something in your head that you knew you wanted to study or kind of coming to college help you to see where you want to go?
I would say both. Like in high school, I was like, yeah, I want to be like Criminal Minds and be the FBI, like behavioral analyst type of person, which explains the forensic psychology degree. Mm-hmm. But then coming to actual campus and experiencing, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm seeing so many people like me and we don't talk about a lot of things. Yep. So I was like, let's do mental health counseling specifically.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. And then now that has helped you to get to where you are now. And you could talk a little bit about that, your title in at UNH, if you want.
Yeah. I just accepted a position as Director of Student Athlete Development and Success. And so some of my roles, I'll be responsible for SAC, so that's cool.
Yes, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Right?
Yeah. Also, I get to work with like career development, resume building, life after your sport, academic stuff, like if you have troubles, like navigating through your schedule and school and stuff like that, along with DEI tasks. Mm-hmm. So like I can set up seminars or education for coaches and players and like talk more about inclusivity and things we can do for our athletes on campus, off campus.
That is so awesome. Yeah. No, that's so, and it's needed. Yes. Representation is also needed. Yes. The fact that you went through it, you got to experience, you got to see what you like, what you want to keep, what you want to change, and now you're on the other side of it. Like, all right, I can actually be the change that I've been talking about.
Yes.
So wow, congratulations! That's such a full circle moment. So happy for you.
Thank you.
And so now that you will be a Connecticut resident,
I'm gonna be in New England,
right? How has that transition been for you and your family? Like, are they okay with it? Like,
yeah, I keep telling my parents, like, you guys are being selfish when they're like, you're not gonna come back. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, it makes sense for me to stay here. Right. Like, my dad, he's very he's a little torn up about it because like me and him are close, and he was like, well, dang, so when are you gonna come back? I'm like, Daddy, I can't give you time. Right. And then when I talk to my mom about it, she's more supportive. She's like, yeah, I knew they needed you. They were gonna keep you as soon as you walked foot. I was like, thanks, Mom.
Right? No, but it's true. Like it's all it's all the purpose. It's all divine timing. It's all a connection that just like you don't get conference Anyton Woman of the Year.
No, didn't even know about it.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just flows right into your purpose and to which where you want to go. So that's awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you, and I'm so thankful for it because like. I don't know about you, but like as a Black student athlete, I definitely struggle with imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. So I was like, am I doing enough? Like, what am I doing? Like, people recognizing the stuff that I'm doing because I think I'm just doing it for my community and no one cares. But it was nice to see that recognition. Like, oh, Anytime Woman of the Year. Now they see the stuff that I do is working and making sense. Right. So,
yeah. So Franklin Pierce was totally different from UNH, as you probably can see. Going in, I could probably count how many students of color was there. Mm-hmm. So it was an eye-opening change that clearly needed to happen, and it did over time because it's much more African American students on campus now. But at the time, I kind of focused my time on creating relationships with people of color that were on campus. Mm-hmm. So, I still talk to the men's basketball team to this day, like, just different people that were there. So I was a part of a group called Alana, and it was Asians, Latinos, African American, and Native Americans, all in the minorities. Okay. And, we went to like Alabama, did a Habitat for Humanity trip.
Really?
Just did small stuff like that. It wasn't big. It wasn't a big thing, but it was. So I got that year. I got the Martin Luther King award.
Congrats.
Me and my friends. You know what I'm saying? So it was like just small things that I tried to do to make some type of difference there. Yeah. And I feel like looking back at it now, like the conversations that we had with different people that were in the room, it's like. At the time, we didn't see any growth or any change, but over time, now that, we're taught having these conversations, we're thinking like, maybe, if I didn't join Alana, maybe the person after me wouldn't have joined, and it just, like, they wouldn't be able to share their experience and stuff like that. So, I wouldn't say it was a big change, but it was a small change that helped to lead to bigger growth.
That was noticeable,
Exactly. So, now my sister can go there and feel a little different than I did when I was there because now there's more African Americans that are there.
That's beautiful.
So, just it definitely, you can see it in that way of like just the life-changing experience that you have.
Yeah.
But now what I did at Franklin Pierce, of just changing my perspective and changing my mindset of what was in front of me helped me to go to the next school and help others change their mindset. You know, and so like I can carry what I learned from there to the other, you know, institutions that I worked in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now that you said that, it definitely, you know, you look back and be like, oh, yeah, maybe I did, do some little change there. So,
but can we talk about, like, how hard it is to be that one person to be like, you know what, I want to say something about this.
I know.
Because it's hard to be that one person to always bring up race.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're in a class full of
white people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And when you're the person that's looked at for questions of, like, concerning your race, it's like, why me?
Yeah.
But, like, why not you?
Exactly.
Because you need to be the one to talk about it, but you don't also want... I didn't want to be that angry black woman.
Yes.
The diary of a mad black woman.
Yes.
You know, I didn't want to be that person that, well, you can go to jazz, she gonna tell you, you know, but I'm not gonna lie, there were people on campus that was that person. And I'm not mad at them for it, because somebody needed to have those types of conversations. Yeah. So, when I felt comfortable, I did. Mm-hmm. I said what I needed to say, whether it was 1 or 2 people in the room or, you know, a class of people in the room. But it's hard because like, especially when you're looked at as like you should be answering these questions, but like if there's a room full of people who can answer a question that you can't, it's like, why can't I answer that question as well? You know what I'm saying? So it definitely, there's 2 sides to it. It's hard, but it's needed.
Yes.
And I feel like over time I started to find my voice and started to say things that may disappoint people, but feelings are involved for both ways. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I can educate you to help you, you know, to not make that same decision, or I can, you know, remove myself from the problem to show you why I needed to remove myself from the problem so you don't make that same mistake.
Yes.
But I also think it's up to the people to look themselves in the face.
Yes.
And know that there's just some things that they made mistakes on, and it's okay to say you made a mistake on. But if you make that same mistake over and over again, then it's a problem. That's a problem. So, I have had many moments like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've definitely battled back and forth with the black angry woman. So I'd be like, how do I say this delicately? I don't want to be perceived, but this is what I feel passionately about. Like, I'm allowed to feel angry, but I can't because it's going to be stereotyped.
Right.
And so it's always that back and forth, or whether, like, they always know me as a person who's going to talk about race because no one else will. I don't want to be that be my, like, name or, like, image. Like, yes, I'm already black. You can see that. But why do I have to keep talking about it?
Right.
Because you refuse to, or it's uncomfortable for you. And so...
Oh.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna pause right here. We're gonna go to the other side because we got. I can go on for days, so we're gonna stop right here. But we're gonna continue over there for sure. So, like I said, I had to come over here because the conversation was getting too good. We just had to keep going, but I definitely feel like I had to pull myself out of the equation because it just didn't sit well in my spirit of things that were going on morally. I just, like, and, you know, at the same time, I know it's a business. I know, like, you know, there's 2 sides to a situation, but I also know that I don't have to be a part of that business if I don't want to be there, and if it's not sitting well with me, and things, you know, so it's just, like, sometimes we can speak up in other ways, and I've learned that moving with grace and moving gracefully with the situation is better than being the angry black woman. And some people don't like that because there's nothing that they can do or say that's going to take us away from how we're going to move.
Yes.
So I pride myself in moving with grace. And I pride myself in just having a personal relationship with God and Him helping me to fix a problem that I don't necessarily have to fix because He already done. So, you know, I've been in situations where I don't agree with what's going on, but I just know going that angry black way that they want to portray us to be is not the way to go. And I operate more better in grace anyway, so why not stay in the purpose that was given to me? So
yeah, what I'm hearing is like you're describing moral distress. So it's like this is what it is, and because you're not part of that institution or because you're not of authoritative power, it's hard to like be insubordinate to someone who's like supervising you or like who has the control over your position or whatever the case may be. So like student athlete, coach has a power over your scholarship and your playing time.
Right.
And so like when you're like, I disagree with this, it's hard to speak up because you're just like, there's so many odds against me, but like I feel passionately that this is wrong, and I don't want other people to feel this way too because I feel it so passionately.
Right. And I also don't want other people to think that I'm a part of it.
Yeah, like I'm okay with what's happening.
Like this. No, it's wrong. It's not okay. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's okay to let other people know it's not okay, and the way of grace, and the way of flowing into your purpose, and just understanding that there's certain people who think that they have your future in their hands, and they don't. And so when you know that, and you know who you are, and you know how things operate, you can move in a way that it benefits you in the end. Don't get me wrong. I definitely would like to, show a different side,
here,
and quiet. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like everything doesn't have to be.
But then again, if you think about it, isn't that like our problem again with society? Because like they have the privilege to express how they want to, but we don't have that same privilege, and that again goes with our mental wellness because we have to keep things in a professional level, a grace level. And then when we get home, that's when we can let it out.
Yes.
But then it falls nothing.
I know. So the way I go about it is I have a good support system. And I'm very supportive of all the people that have helped me get to where I am now. Because I therapy helps as well. Because, you can talk to my therapist about things. But my support system, I can say what I want to say and you get it off my chest. And feel validated. And feel like they understand. Because I know they do. Yeah. So it's like, I'm happy that I have that support system to get things off my chest, to say certain things. But it's also like, get it off that way helps me to go and move in a different way of grace. So it's like, that's what I said. I have days, and these days are not, and I've been in a point where I didn't always operate like this. So I was like, kept it bottled up, and I'm not talking, and I'm shelled up. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, no, put your shoulders back. Raise your head, smile, and let it out, and then move accordingly. Yes. So it definitely does suck because, like you said, there's a way that they can handle things that we can't, but there's also, I just know the bigger picture. I just know that my support is going to help me get through and navigate through it as well. So, I don't want to move like y'all move. Respectfully, I'm good over here. Yeah. You're not getting that out of me, and I like that one up on you. Yeah. So I think that's how I look at it.
Great way of looking at it. Yeah. You don't have to take me out of my character.
Exactly. And I hate getting out of my character. I hate when people take me out of my character. But I also know those are the people that I'm not supposed to be around. Because if you know me, you know how I move, how I operate, you shouldn't have to question anything about me because you know me and you know how I move and how I operate. Exactly. So you can, like, and I feel like they won when they get me out of character. Yes. So if I can move in a way that
proves them wrong.
Exactly. So the outside, looking in like, oh, you didn't get. Nope, I did. Yeah. I'm one up, and I'm moving in my purpose, and I'm moving in my future in the way I'm supposed to be. So thank you for handling it the way you did.
Yeah, and show me not to do that.
Exactly. So that, like, for you, when you've been in that position, it's like, what helped you to stay going?
Yeah, similar. Definitely had moments where I was like screaming, crying in my car, calling my parents, and I'm like, yo, you won't believe what just happened. I gotta deal with this. Why I feel like I'm the only one who has to say something. I know other people feel it. I know other people heard it, yet no one said anything. Why is that? Right. And it always comes back to the same, because privilege. And so I'm always trying to be that person to speak. And sometimes that can be tiring, like advocating all the time. Like, who advocates for you? And like you said, the support system, like that's when they validate like you're doing the right thing. Right. Like sometimes you don't have to say, you can pick and choose your battles. Like, is this something worth speaking on? Do you feel like someone else will encounter this and it'll help them? Right. And so like definitely the support system and my faith, like praying all the time, talking to God, like help me like figure this out. Maybe I don't need to do anything, Lord. You'll show me something. I don't know. But yeah, definitely relying on support system.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. And I don't know, you feel better in the end. Going the way that you know you're supposed to go. Yes. Because like you said, when people take us out of character, that's not how we want to operate. No. So it's like we feel nasty inside, and it's like, dang, I didn't even mean to do it like that, but you made me do it like that. But like they really didn't, because right, exactly. Yeah. So the self-control that I've learned of just like, it's okay. Yeah. God has the final say all the time. He's always gonna get the last laugh. Like, so just I feel like handling it in that way, it helps other people to see the way that they can handle situations and how they can move and operate in grace, and how it help them in the long run. Because I definitely think it goes far beyond what we see in front of us. It just helps other people to see that there is a different way.
Like we're modeling for other young people how to handle conflict,
absolutely,
how to handle disagreements. It doesn't have to be escalated.
Yes. I was one who always like early in, just like, why me? Why I gotta do it? Doomsday. Right. And I'm like, pick me, because I know that I'm the right person that's gonna handle it this way, and obviously I can see that around me. But so like I'll take it. I'll take it to the chin, and I'll be that example for the young generation, for the older generation, whatever. So I'll be the one. Yeah. So thank you for choosing me. Actually. Yeah. So what advice do you have for athletes who are looking to pursue the mental health field and
Yeah. I guess I would say no one really knows what they're doing in the mental health field. So, or just in the medical field, because there's still a lot of diagnoses that people don't know. So, like, don't pressure yourself in trying to get things right and not focusing so much on the label of, like, diagnosis. Because, like, I do not like diagnosis. I do not like the label of it because it's stigmatizing. And so, focusing more on the symptoms and helping, like, collaboratively working with clients and, like, helping them alleviate symptoms. So, like, yes, this symptom is aligned with ADHD, but that doesn't mean you are ADHD. Right. You have ADHD-like symptoms. You know what I'm saying? So, like, focusing not too much on diagnosing and, like, making sure you're doing the right thing, just helping people is the right thing. So even if it's just a conversation like today, that helps people in so many ways. I didn't do anything therapeutic, but just sitting here was therapeutic for me.
Right. No, seriously. I like the way that you said that, because, like, that helps people in the long run. Like, so many people, when you tell them that they're this, they're that, like, they're like, oh, like, their whole...
Internalize it,
it's downhill. And, like, I have this, I have that. It's like, I guess, but at the same time, it's like, don't claim it. Yeah. Don't claim that thing. Like, speak and manifest what you don't have so you can get past this little chapter or season that you're in. Because I totally agree. Like, once you say something, I don't even want to say the word, but, like, I'm depressed. Now I'm sitting in my depression. Yeah. Now I can't get out of it. Yeah. Now I'm just like, just walking around, but like, no, I'm not depressed no more. Like, I can get up out of this. Like, I can actually get to the other side of the hill. So, totally agree. And I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
I really enjoyed this conversation. The fact that we met, how we got here, similar stories, just like, having an opportunity to connect with you. I really do appreciate you coming to my home right for the first time. I was like, I'm gonna ask her if she want to come here, but also I'm gonna give you the Zoom option as well. But I'm so glad you came to the studio. Yeah. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you. This is a cool setup.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Do you have anything else before?
No. Black women doing great things.
Yes. So. Yes. Well, you heard it here first. Guys, my sisters, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I'm always here for you guys. Until next episode, I'll see you then.